Alright, hey guys, welcome back to the discussion video, and today we're going to be going over, I think there's 6 threads where the devs have replied either, hey, we're going to get back to you, or giving more information on suggestions that are made by the players. So very excited to see what this is, see if any of this is actually going to make it, possibly going to make it, and overall see what the devs have to say. So without further ado, I'm going to link each thread down below, and let's check them out. So first one is called Reticles for Siege Weapons. So the original poster says, not sure how much of this is UI as it is core gameplay. Please advise/move if this is not in the right place. Simply, I'd like an overlay for estimated strike of projectiles, similar to how cannon reticle/aiming plane worked in AC Black Flag. So it's like this little thing right over here that kind of shows exactly where it's going to land. And he says, I think it would make more sense for catapults and trebuchets, obviously in siege events. I think so too. Not bad, actually. Yeah, I think so too. I don't personally think it would be good like on weapons and throwing weapons. I think that would be kind of like too strong. I think it's good how it is, where you don't really know where your throwing weapon is going to go exactly. You have the crosshair, but you don't have like this thing. But I think for the siege weapons, I agree. This could become a thing. Then he states, for the ballista, a standard reticle that looks like the current icon for range weapons would be fine, but a leaf sight style reticle could be good since the ballista bolts seem to drop depending on how far they are shot. Something similar to M203, but translucent, but tied to the weapon itself. Okay, so you can kind of tell by how much, you can tell it, like if you shoot it from here, in this many meters it's going to be over here, and this many meters it's going to be over there. Okay. I understand, okay. So Dev says reticle for siege weapon is not planned at the moment, okay. Only a crosshair for ballistas is planned. Okay, so the second part is planned. But I can bring this up internally. Thank you for the suggestion. I think the catapult idea is not bad. I think this is not a bad idea, low key. I think this makes sense. For siege weapons, yeah, I do think it makes sense. I know, because you have to understand, with siege weapons, even if you shoot the same thing, they're still kind of randomized, if that kind of makes sense, right? It's like if you don't move the scale of how far you're going to shoot it, it's still, when you shoot it, it's still going to be a little bit of random. And I think that's good because siege weapons back in the day, you know what I mean? Or when Bannerlord takes place, they weren't 100% accurate. They weren't like aimbot machines, you know what I mean? Like you could you could literally shoot it the same way 10 times, and I bet you it won't hit the same spot 10 times. So I think that's fine. But it would be cool to maybe see, instead of not like a line like this, maybe like how can I explain it? What would be cool is like as you're aiming it, there will be like a huge red blob where it could possibly land, like a huge red radius of where it could possibly land. That would be kind of cool, I think. But we are getting a crosshair for ballistas similar to this, so you can aim a little bit better with it. Cool. Next we have is showing the total value of inventory. So the original poster says, I suggest adding the ability to check the total value of all items with locked and unlocked items in the inventory screen, like an icon or smithing. It would be very useful, especially when you have a lot of loot from battles. Okay, I think it would be a cool thing to see, like, oh, you have this much in your inventory, to see when you need to sell it. I think more information to the player is always good. And then, okay, let's see what the players have to say. The player says, I think it would also be nice if something like this was displayed for the loot acquired in the left column of the post-battle menu, so we can easily keep tabs on how much money each battle brings in. I agree. And then, what's it called? Developer says, like others mentioned, the values shown in the loot inventory is only the base values. It's mostly there to sort items. It doesn't represent real economy values. That is true. The price does change where you're at, so it would be kind of a hard thing to calculate. It would have to be based off base values, but that's not always, what you're going to get for it. Well, it's never really what you're going to get for it because, again, it's a real economy, or like a real moving economy that changes instead of just being, a static one. And then he states, maybe we can show total value while the player is in town. Oh, that's cool. So if you actually visit the town, stop there, and then check your inventory while you're inside that town, you can see how much if you were to sell everything in that town. That would be cool. He says he'll bring it up internally. Okay. Next one, hide skill level up. Turn off notices of skill increases. I'm weak. He made a poll. Do you want to be able to turn off skill level up information? One person voted no. Alright, so he states, I play with little notices and interfaces as possible. Yet whenever my companion or I gain a skill level, it is reported. Please give us an option to turn that off. I think it'd be very cool if we could have less stuff on the heads-up display. Especially like those like flags that come up in the middle when stuff happens, like when a rebellion happens. The stuff on the right-hand corner, I know that stuff can be turned off. But I think if you could do a more minimalistic way, there are people who do like that, and I would personally turn some of those off as well. I don't mind them, but I do agree that some of them can be kind of annoying. If I could turn off that bottom left thing off, it would be so good because it just always takes up the screen. Right, whenever I'm trying to take a screenshot, but that's only for me because I'm a YouTuber. But like the bottom left, if I could just turn that off, I low key would. It's not that very important to have on. And then, what's it called? Dev states, ability to turn off specific notifications is not planned at the moment. Since we're going to add a way to disable a specific notification that shows up in the generic space, center, top, scroll notifications, we should be able to disable/enable all of them. Okay. We think if there is an annoyance problem with a specific notification, it's better to refine that notification, show it less frequently. I'll relay this internally. Thank you for the feedback. Okay, so he says we won't pretty much have an option to turn it off, but we're going to make it so those notifications are actually good notifications to the point where, the player will want them to be on there. Okay. I still think they should, maybe think about, having the ability to make it more minimalistic, but hey, if they make the notifications actually worth something, okay, we'll see how it works. Next we have transfer UI should show the squad number. Okay, what is this exactly? He states, main poster, when you enter in the F3, F5 transfer screen, it is difficult to tell which squad you are transferring them to. While you do provide the name of the group, the name is, this is formation players. I have no idea anything about this. Listen, my formation skills are weak. Listen, F1, F3. What else I got in my arsenal? F1, F2 is to follow. F1, F1 is to move to this location. That's all I need, baby. He states, the name isn't used in any other screen to make it easily discernible. There's more problem in Siege than field battles. So I'm guessing you can transfer specific units to different squads by pressing F3, F5. And he states that you can't really see who you're transferring and it can get kind of confusing. This is why I don't go into formations, man. Some of those get kind of confusing, man. And I don't even know how to back out of formations. It's just a weird thing. I don't know. I'm scared, man. I'll keep it a stack with you. Hey. Maybe there's a lot of options. There's too many options, man. But, okay, so he suggests adding the troop number and the squad number to this UI to make it much easier to tell which squad you are choosing. And then 2, if you can't get it into the transfer box UI, just leave the typical squad info at the top of the screen when the transfer box pops up. So pretty much give us information, show us so we can kind of tell what's happening. So this is the current thing. Okay, and his suggestion would be oh yeah, well definitely, because currently you don't really see how much numbers there are. It says ranged, but I think the icon should be different as well. It definitely needs improvement. This makes 100% sense. I think this should be in here. 100%, I think this should be in here. And then Dev says we should show this info in the transfer pop-up. I took a note. Thank you. So this is probably going to make it. I think this is definitely really easy. I don't know if it's really easy. Not a developer. But I think this makes 100% sense. I think this would be a good change. Next, we have need a tab to find supporters. Okay, so original poster goes, right now supporters are notables who support your clan, giving you a modest boost to influence. This information is already available in the UI by hovering over a notables picture in the top bar of settlements, but there's no way to easily find who's supporting your clan from the other side. Interesting. That would be actually kind of cool. Yeah, and also if we can get a notification when you gain a supporter and to see who those people are. hey, I'll treat them nice. You know what I mean? I'll do more quests for them and stuff like that because they are supporting me and giving me influence. I think that is important. We are getting changes to how we are actually getting changes to supporters and making it so we can get them easier as the player because the AI gets them a lot and the player doesn't. But I think it would be cool to see who they actually are. Then he says, right now you have to comb through a list of all towns and villages looking for notables who are supporting you. It can be important information. You are facing your hard choice of whether to give up a settlement or lose a bunch of troops defending it, or if you're trying to decide which village to piss off in a quest. It is possible to put a block for supporters under the clan tab. Yeah, I think it should be possible. I think in that section, the scroll down section, where obviously you have your companions, your family members, people who are doing caravans for you. If you scroll all the way down, it'd be cool to see a supporter list. I think that is possible, 100%. Dev says being able to see who your supporters are somewhere in the game should be a thing. I agree. I'll bring this up eternally. Thank you for the suggestion. Yes, I think this is definitely a good thing to see. And last one we have is impossible to tell different characters with the same name in Encyclopedia. Okay. And he states, as in the title, it is pretty much impossible to tell which player you are selecting from the search bar of the Encyclopedia if they share a name. That is true, but like it's okay. I'm gonna keep it a stack with you. I'm gonna keep it a stack. You ready? You might misclick once or twice, but it's not the biggest end of the world. But I do agree if you add some more stuff to it, that would be kind of cool. But it's not that big of a problem. I've done it. I've done it plenty of times, but it's not like something that I looked at and I was like, oh, can't believe this happened. Sometimes people have the same name. It is what it is. But I do agree if you add something more, that would be kind of cool too. But I don't think this is the biggest thing. I think this is very minor. But he says, I'll bring this up eternally. Thank you for the feedback. And by the way, the original poster says possible solutions: clan name as surname, birth year next to the name, clan banner next to the name, adding nicknames, the younger, the maid, the heir. Okay, cool. I agree. It could be a change for sure. So there you go. 6 changes. Well, not 6 changes. 6 suggestions. Dev replies. There you go. People swear this doesn't happen on the forums. And here it is. It does. And look at that. It's even for posts that say nothing negative. They say positive stuff. You know what I mean? Like I stated, it does happen. I know people want to say it doesn't, but it does. There it is. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Ask me any questions and concerns. And like always, I will see you in the next one.